Hello. Let me confirm that I am in fact live. Okay, perfect. Great. Just want to quickly go over the full moon in Aries that we're about to have in 2 days. Yes. Let me double check. Now, this is not necessarily going to be a pleasant full moon. It's happening in Aries. Whenever there's a full moon, is when the moon is directly opposite the sun. So we have our sun in Libra. Mars is also conjunct the sun in Libra. Mars is the ruler of Aries, and it does not like being in Libra. It's in detriment in Libra because it's far away from its home placement. So what does that mean? Aries likes to go. It don't want to ask questions. It doesn't want to stop and weigh out the odds, and it doesn't want to balance anything out. It doesn't want to consider anybody else's opinions. This is why Aries people tend to be very me first, very selfish. Not necessarily always in a bad way. Can be. It can manifest different ways, but this is why they tend to be about the self, because Aries is associated with the first house and Mars. So anyway, being in the opposite sign of Libra and Aries being polar opposites, Mars, where people are wanting to just do first and ask questions later, if at all, that's kind of just like not what you should do. People are going to want to be a little bit impulsive, especially emotionally, because of the aspects to the moon. So again, it's happening at 27 degrees. Did I say that post? I know what's going to happen. They were going to post it. I saw just a minute ago. Where is it? I got to go find it. But it's happening at 27 degrees of Aries. So this can mean that this can be a very emotional. Full moons are always, not always, but more than likely they're a more emotional time than any other phase of the moon, because the moon represents water, our emotions. So full moon, full emotions, right? So if people have been holding on to things like grudges, things like things could be blowing up, like there could be heated conversations, straight up arguments and fights. Again, Saturn is direct now, Pluto is direct now. So whatever lessons people didn't learn when it comes to their responsibility, their integrity, and their position with power, how they deal with people in authority, whatever that is for you, it's going to vary. It's not going to be the same thing for all of us. So I feel like there's going to be a series of tests that come along with these post retrograde periods. Like now Saturn and Pluto are direct, and I believe that Jupiter and Mercury, yes, Jupiter, I think, and Mercury are both direct now. So no more retrograde. There's still post shadow period for Mercury retrograde. Excuse me, which the pre and post shadow periods tend to be sometimes worse than the retrograde period. Sorry, this one. It's irritating me. Okay. So I'm looking for this post that I just saw a minute ago because it gave a great summary, and I basically just want to read it. Okay. So again, happening at 27 degrees on the 20th. So that is Wednesday. That's cool because, yeah, I mean, I guess exactly 2 weeks ago we had the new moon. Anyway, not important. Anyway, so full moons are symbolic of rest, rejuvenation, releasing anything that is keeping us stagnant. And that can be emotions too, like things just, like I said, if you've been holding on to grudges, things like that, emotions, bitter feelings, whatever it is. you've been holding on to things energetically or emotionally, that could be coming up during this full moon so that you can release it. Um, yeah, when it comes to decision making, you want to spend some time weighing out your options before you just jump into something. Says it's important to act out of calm certainty rather than impulse or anger. That's what I was kind of mentioning earlier. A lot of people are going to want to be straight up impulsive. You're going to want to straight up want to be just like impulsive and reactionary, but it's really important to just weigh out the odds, think about the consequences of your actions, think about, how you'll feel afterwards, how the other parties may feel afterwards. All of those things need to be taken into consideration, but that could be a little bit difficult to do with the sun, our celestial being that rules our self-expression, conjunct Mars, the planet of war, who just wants to just go and fight. You know what I mean? So just be mindful. And then there's also aspects to the moon. I was just looking at just a minute ago. So it can make for humbling, maybe challenging conversations where you can really have those hard, uncomfortable conversations and kind of get somewhere, but it can skate on the lines of like, this is too uncomfortable, this is really intense. You just said the wrong thing in the wrong tone. Now I want to fight you. You know what I mean? Like it can get really ugly really quickly with this energy. If people are too much in the ego as well. But we do have Venus, sextile, Mercury, so people are going to be able to express their feelings, I think, really well, and with relate in aspects of relationships and friendships, things like that. And then we have Venus trining the moon. So for those reasons, I do feel like it'll be at least a little bit easier to express how you feel in a very honest way. And let me just double check Jupiter. Yes, Jupiter is direct now. We still have Neptune retrograde and Uranus retrograde, and these two are making a minor aspect, a minor non-harmonious aspect. I'm not going to say which because I'm not 100% sure. I think it's Mercantile. I could be wrong. I can't tell you what it means anyway, so I'm not going to get into that. Not off the top of my head. So then we also have Jupiter is making an aspect to the sun and Mars. It's trining. So Jupiter is expansive. That's why I said it can easily go from 0 to 2000 with Jupiter in the mix, because if somebody takes a wrong turn, they can just dive off the deep end with it. Like they can just go too far before even realizing that they went too far, and then it's the point of no return. And then you have to be reprimanded, or you've embarrassed yourself. There's a lot of people involved, or it's just like a big shit show, a big fight, a big blow up, a meltdown. Meltdowns, I think, are going to be trending. Um, with this full moon, and probably in the waning phases of the moon until the new moon in Scorpio. Honestly, for the rest of the year, we can probably expect a lot of meltdowns. But granted, with the energy how it is right now, um, people could definitely just like their emotions can become overwhelming, be too much. So let's see. I wasn't finished reading. Trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Yeah, so there's aspects to Mars and Pluto. This full moon can feel stifling, frustrating, and disharmonious. Cut through the mess. Full and new moon phases are already incredibly emotionally and physically draining. These harsh aspects can deplete our energy more than usually, avoid burnout and hot tempered conversation. Yes. So if you start having a conversation and it starts getting heated, like it's important to just draw back, understand when you understand what the energy is, you can kind of navigate it a lot better. This is not the energy, this is not the fire you want to play with. You know what I mean? Like you could incinerate something if you let it get too crazy. So once you see those sparks start, it's important to go ahead and draw back, withdraw from conversations that get too heated or that look like they might be headed towards a fight, a physical fight, because sometimes people just can't control their emotions and they just have to, not have to, they just choose to act out. I don't know. Like that emotion just needs a release. And sometimes it's, if you're triggering them or, things are just too chaotic, they may choose to take it out on you. And that's just not good. I'm not justifying it, I'm just explaining it. And also, like, you can have a lot of energy when it comes to like your day-to-day planning, especially if Mercury retrograde caused you to have like some hiccups, or you had to like go back to the drawing board about a couple of things and check the fine print, or just kind of hold off on a few things, reevaluate. It can help like with brainstorming and planning, things like that. So if you get a lot of work done, that's good. Just avoid being burnt out or doing too much. Make sure you're incorporating rest. Make sure you're not just go, 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 go. And then like you exhaust yourself because you overdo it or overindulge with that Jupiter energy. Let's see what else. So, okay, this one actually gives for the houses, not for the houses, but for the focal points for, say, if you're Aries rising. So this is going to influence your self-image, your appearance, and your identity and your ego, like always, but in aspects of other people, like how other people contribute to how you feel about yourself, whether you do enough for yourself and not enough for other people, or vice versa, you do too much for yourself and not enough for other people. However I said it all. Anyway, that's a focal point for you. So maybe you're evaluating how maybe you could be a little bit more selfish, like you could have a little bit better self-care. I don't know why this is bothering me so much. Anyway, you can have a little bit more self reserve for yourself, or regard for yourself rather, in aspects to how you care for yourself, how you take care of yourself, how you think of yourself, how you speak to yourself, how you view yourself. That is purely based on you. Okay, and then we have Taurus ascendant, intuition, hidden enemies, the subconscious mind, and processes, astral realms, secrets, and mysticism. So, I'm trying to picture the chart in my head. I really wish I had one. A chart a picture of a chart. Let me see. Let me look at this one and see if I can just translate it. So if your Taurus is rising, that puts this, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That puts the moon in your 12th house. Likely, not necessarily. It just depends on your individual chart. But anyway, it puts the Mars and Sun in your 6th house. I don't know. I'm not going to get too deep into that. Oh, man, why does this post keep going away? I may have to just share the post. But I know a lot of y'all don't know what your rising sign is. Anyway, you have to have you don't have to, you either need a really, really skilled astrologer and a lot of details about the day of your birth and what time of day you were born to get your rising sign. But even if you know, like I was born around 2 a.m., you know what I mean? You don't have the accurate time, like down to the minute, your degrees are going to be off, right? So like you can't get an accurate birth chart without one, having a very, very skilled astrologer, or the birth time. So you need your birth time, check your birth certificate, ask your parents, ask for details about the day you were born, because if you can get it down to a 2-hour window, you can figure out what your rising sign is, but the degrees may not be accurate. So I gotta find this post again because my phone went to sleep. So yeah, your subconscious mind and the mind processes the astral realm, secrets, and mysticism. So Taurus, that's what's going on for you. That sounds very 12th house to me. Gemini ascendant, your friends, partnerships, networks, inventions, technology, and medicine. That sounds very 11th house. So you could be just evaluating all of these things. You could be purging in these areas. You could be releasing things that no longer serve you in these areas. You could be learning new things that replaces old knowledge in these areas when it comes to like friends, partnerships, networks, inventions, technology, and medicine. Cancer rising. Your reputation, your success, paternal figures. So this is 10th house, boundaries and authority figures. So you're learning, and this feels like it's trying to balance out kind of everybody's polarities in a way, because the 10th house is the opposite of Cancer's house, the 4th house. It is the mother to the father. So it's trying to help you purge and release in this area of your life. Leo rising, higher education, spirituality, long distance travels, expansion, new opportunities. So this is very 9th house. You could be trying to travel. You could be planning travel. All of the energy that I previously discussed is kind of playing out in this area of life for you. So that's how you apply this. And if you don't know what your rising sign is, you can also check your sun and moon signs, but it's more accurate for your rising signs. If you don't know how to find your rising sign, but you have your birth time, send me a message and I'll show you how to do it. I have videos on it, but I'll show you how to do it. You can just go to, I use 2 different websites, and one of them is also an app. Well, actually I use a few different websites, but I always refer people to 2 different ones because they're just easy. So if you're Virgo rising, when it comes to your inheritance, investment, sexuality, possessions of others, intuition and magic, very 8th house. So you could be learning about, purging and learning about this area of life. There could be like heated conversations and like harbored emotions regarding these things as well. Okay, Libra rising, partnerships, romance, contracts, visible enemies. So 7th house, that is your house. Like, I feel like sometimes when it's in your natural energy, people assume that it's supposed to be more, supposed to be like easier for you, but I feel like this is actually going to be quite challenging for you because it can be overwhelming. You can feel a lot of pressure to make decisions. I know, scary, right? Libra stuff. You can feel pressure to make choices and decisions and definitive decisions. So, like when it comes to your partnerships, when it comes to love, when it comes to contracts, and also like enemies, you can have a situation with like an enemy who just won't go away, and you have to finally figure out what you're going to do about it. You can't just ignore it. You can't just be like, oh, this person is mentally ill. They're like doing something. You got to do something back. You know what I mean? So just like I said, I don't know, ask your guys for direction on how to deal with that. And I'm like, that might be a little bit intense, but it's happening for a reason. It's all for a lesson. It's all contributing to your growth. So Scorpio rising, health and wellness, routine, habits, behaviors, diet. This is 6th house energy. So you could be reevaluating your life in this area of life. You could be purging when it comes to your diet, your health, your wellness, your routine, your habits, your jobs. Maybe there's a job that you're quitting or that you want to quit or that you are getting fired from, that you're parting ways with because it doesn't align with you anymore. For Sagittarius ascendant, your creativity, your romance, your children, and pleasurable activities. Sagittarius, this is like 5th house stuff. So you could be thinking about children. You could be this could be involving your children if you already have children. You could be experimenting with things that are pleasurable. Just having more fun, indulging in like watching movies, comedies, going out, um, in romance. Maybe you're dating, maybe you start dating, something like that. Capricorn ascendant, um, home, family, childhood, sense of security, maternal figures. So again, very fourth house, the opposite of Cancer. Capricorn and Cancer are polar opposites. So this feels like for you, I know previously in another video that I watched mentioned something about like family secrets. You could be learning things about your heritage, about your DNA, about your home, about your mother specifically, or the women in your family, maternal figures, like it says. What contributes to your sense of security? There could be lots of enlightenment and relevant revelation. I can never say that word. Revelations when it comes to these areas of life for you. And also with family, maybe you are connecting to your ancestors or learning something about your family. There could be family fight, there could be purging, something of that matter happening in your home. Like you'd be throwing away old things in your home, things like that. When I say purging, it's like getting rid of things that are just taking up space and holding weight in your life unnecessarily. So you're getting rid of it. So whether that means crying over something your mom did when you were 12 or your family did to you when you were a child or something, you know what I mean? Like just getting it out your system. Aquarius rising, communication, writing, thought processes, short distance travels, communication, colleagues. So you could be writing, you could be getting your thoughts out. Some of you could be like writing a book. So again, that's one of those things, like if you get carried away with getting those energies out and purging and releasing it with the full moon, that's very positively aspected for this. I mean, that's a good thing, but you don't want to burn out. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to overdo it and leave yourself drained from doing so. So just be mindful. Communication, again, very Gemini third house, very natural for you because it's an air sign energy. So you could just be talking a lot. Some of you could be starting like a podcast, or again, just writing, writing articles, blogging, heavily active or on social media, things like that. And it's like you could say something that's thought provoking, but you can also just like be triggering people, and that could start some heated conversations. So you kind of see how the dots connect and how the energy just, manifests. It just lets you know what area of life to look out for, which house of your life to look out for. Anyway, Pisces rising, when it comes to your possessions, your values, your self-esteem, and your finances. So second house. This can also be like food, your relationship with food, your values, your sense of self-worth, your self-esteem. So how you feel about yourself. You could be reflecting on those things. You could be realizing that you've allowed other people to influence you too much, or that you can be too sensitive to what other people think and not care enough about what you think. So lots of revelations could be taking place when it comes to your self-worth, your possessions. You could be realizing that you have a lot of stuff that you just don't need. You could donate some things. You could sell some things, like have a garage sale or something like that. Maybe you're getting rid of, you found some old stuff that you had that belonged to your ex, or you know what I mean? Just all stuff that you had from years ago that you can't fit anymore, that you don't use, you don't need. You can get rid of things like that. Or just learning, like getting really honest with your values and what you do value, right? Like really connecting with your sense of value and your self-worth. You could also just be revamping your finances. You could be investing in new things, even buying like new furniture, things of that nature, buying new art, getting rid of old art, or just like trinkets and things that you don't resonate with anymore. So that's just like a rundown for this full moon. I definitely, it says also stay hydrated. I definitely recommend staying hydrated because of the Aries energy, the Jupiter energy. Those are both like fiery energies. Um, Making aspects to the moon, like that water, it can kind of evaporate that water. And if you're doing a lot, talking a lot, you're getting a lot done, which is really good because Mars has been direct all year. If you're getting things done and being productive, that's awesome. But it can cause you to burn out. So make sure you stay hydrated, drink a lot of water, make sure you're replacing your electrolytes, drink your chlorophyll water, drink your Gatorade, Powerade, whatever aid, Pedialyte. Replace your electrolytes. Making sure you're staying hydrated, getting all of your minerals and vitamins. You can declutter your closet, your home. That's something that I've been thinking about doing very heavily anyway before I even looked at the aspects for the moon and watched and studied for myself before I decided to share with others. I was just walking around one day and I was just like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I need to get rid of. So I did kind of organize my closet a little bit. I'm not 100% done yet, but I'm going to leave it like it is for now because I like it right how it is for now. But those are some things that you may be wanting to do right now. Focusing on your short-term goals. Just getting rid of things. The full moon is a good time to clean up, banish, declutter, get rid of things, throw away things, purge, release, let go, set your crystals out to recharge, all of those things. You know what I mean? So hopefully that helps you. Check out your rising sign. If it was unclear for any reason, my apologies. You can drop your questions in the comment section. I honestly was like, I'm gonna take a nap, and I was like, no, you're not gonna take a nap. You're gonna do something productive. So I may just like meditate instead because it's kind of like napping, or maybe I'll do like some yoga. I don't know. Maybe listen to a lecture. I don't know. Whatever I do, it's going to require minimal effort on my part. So, and it'll still be productive. So I hope that's helpful for you. Make sure you check your rising sign. You can also refer to your sun and moon sign if you like. Yeah. And just take it easy on this full moon. And don't get into any fights or arguments. Don't go to jail either. All right. Best of luck to you. Thanks for watching. Peace, love, and light.